Hello and welcome to Daily Politics on Trust TV. On this program, we discuss issues around politics, policy and governance. I am Shafiu Suleiman. As Nigeria grapples with inadequate police personnel to deal with growing internal security challenges, the continued face-off between the Police Service Commission (PSC) and the Inspector General of Police (IGP) over recruitment of constables has been undermining the efforts at addressing the fragile security situation in the country. Though the Supreme Court has settled the dispute on who should be responsible for the recruitment of the 60,000 constables over a period of 6 years as designed by the former administration between the PSC and the IGP in favor of the PSC, this did not appear to have ended the squabble. Recall that former President Buhari had in 2018 approved the recruitment of 10,000 constables for a period of 6 years, but only 20,000 were so far engaged due to persistent power struggle between the two police authorities. Now, it is against this backdrop we'll be engaging with a senior security correspondent and author, Senator Iroegbu, and a security affairs analyst, Salihu Muhmud, to examine the recruitment controversy and its impact on the fight against insecurity in the country. Thank you for joining us, gentlemen.
Thank you very much, sir.
Now, before the conversation, here are some tidbits. President Bola Tinubu has described the lingering insecurity bedeviling Nigeria, particularly the northwest region of the country, as inherited security compromises. The president added that the banditry and insurgency facing the country is a likelihood of historical injustices meted out to the adverse victims of conflict. Reflecting on his inaugural speech 1 year ago, Tinubu noted that we promised to make Nigeria safer, and this aim has been our topmost priority since we came to office. And former senator representing Kaduna Central Senatorial District, Shehu Sani, has claimed that the recent visit of some prominent northern politicians to former President Muhammadu Buhari was an attempt to unseat President Bola Tinubu in 2027. Senator Sani, on his verified Facebook page on Monday, said the same Buhari who led Nigeria for 80 years left the north worse than he met it, adding that it is too early to forget. He wrote, in quote, "The recent visit by some prominent northern politicians to Daura appeared to be the usual Eid homage, but looking deeper and beyond the pockets, it's surreptitiously a new attempt to build a strong northern alliance using ex-President Muhammadu Buhari as a rallying point to challenge and evict President Tinubu government in 2027. Now we'll take a short break, and when we return, our conversation commences. Stay with us. Thank you very much for staying with us. And now our conversation begins. Let's start with the tidbits, and let's start with you, Senator. President Bola Tinubu talking about security situation in the country, attributing it to what he called, decades of, injustices meted out of victims of conflicts. How are you looking at that statement?
This statement is still the same usual trajectory where our leaders will keep on telling us the problem we already know, but preferring little or no solution. What we need is solution action. We all know, everybody in Nigeria know that this is an old issue, and that the victims is grievances upon grievances, people trying to seek justice by themselves, and then conflict merchants seize the opportunity to escalate the issue. But what we're asking, we have the number one role of every government, especially in Nigeria, as provided by Constitution, is the security, the well-being, the security, welfare of the citizen, and the security of life and property. And we made our president, not just the president, but commander-in-chief of the armed forces, mean that his number one role, as the social contract demand, is the protection of the life and property. People want solution, not telling us the existing problem.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, he's making reference perhaps to the farmers' hardest conflict. He talked about injustices meted out of victims of conflict, but he was making reference to banditry and insurgency. But on the flip side, he's also talking about inherited security compromises. Is it the usual, blame game, so to speak? Inherited security compromises, coming from the president. Why is the government always trying to pass buck,
Well, if as the president and commander-in-chief is trying to say inherited security compromises, in one aspect is right, in another aspect is wrong.
Okay.
Even in the past, a lot of higher echelons of the service agencies, the security agencies have mentioned that compromise at the part of some unscrupulous elements, both in the polity and even amongst the security agents themselves. Of recent, the Katsina State governor, during one of their meetings in the United States of America, did expose that he has credible information regarding the complicity and involvement of top Katsina State government officials, politicians, and even some members of the security agencies. So, even in a way, President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, as President and Commander-in-Chief, maybe via intelligence reports is privy to from security agencies, is right. But in another way, when you take that title of Commander-in-Chief, it's like a warrior, even before approaching the enemies, giving up that I cannot win that war. So as Commander-in-Chief, he ought not to say that, because there is a reason for always saying President and Commander-in-Chief. As Commander-in-Chief, you are Commander-in-Chief of both the service chiefs, both chiefs of Army, Naval, Air Force, Inspector General of Police, DG, DSS, NIA, and host of others. So that title ought to be a positive one at every interval, whether it is at the point of failure. You ought to summon the courage to say it is possible, victory belongs to God, but there are other efforts you can put in. So in two ways, when you bring them together, in one way is right, the other way as Commander-in-Chief is wrong.
Okay. Let's go to the next one now. Former Senator Shehu Sani, liking, the recent visit of some prominent Nigerians, leaders, so to speak, to President Muhammadu Buhari. I'm sure he's making reference to the visit by Atiku, as an attempt perhaps, or a gang-up kind of, by the northern political elites to unseat President Bola Tinubu. He said it is not the usual Eid homage. Do you read it as such?
I think politicians are free to make their own postulations and calculations. Maybe that's how he sees it, and I want to concede to his own opinion. Okay. He's free to hold it, but also people are free. As former president, he's free to, who should be a statesman now, I think he's free to receive visitors of all kinds of different political parties. I'm sure being a former president, he is no longer into partisan politics as he should be. Whether from different political camps, he should be able to receive them. I'm not that a fan of Buhari, but he's free to receive visitors and if he decides that he wants to maybe see something, it's when our political, I've realized, is when they're out of power, they begin to become more. In fact, when they're in power, you are trying to tell them you are their enemy. They don't listen. Maybe when they're out of power and start feeling what the masses are feeling, maybe the scales will now fall off their eyes to begin to see otherwise. Just like Shehu Sani said, and the 8 years he was there. Exactly. What was his impact? Just like it was for me, it's not something to be cheerful. But like I noted, maybe the scale has fallen off. Maybe there's something he's seeing now he didn't see when he was in office. If what his allegation he's saying is true.
That's right. Mm-hmm. He said it's made a rallying point,
Yeah, that's what I mean.
These forces, if you like, or this
it's still in the realm of speculation.
Elites, are seeing Buhari, making him a reference point now, or rallying point to come together to stage a comeback, with the sole aim of unseating the current president. Do you agree with that submission?
Let me go the way Mr. Iroegbu just said. You see, every Nigerian is entitled to his or her opinion.
Right?
And visitation to former heads of state or president did not just start with Buhari. Don't forget, the former military president, General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, is Mina Iltop home. Before this time, a lot of politicians, normally including the incumbent president and commander-in-chief, before his contest in 2023, he visited General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida severally. So can Shehu Sani, as a former lawmaker in the upper chamber of the National Assembly, also allude that to lobbying General Babangida for their political successes in 2023 too? The issues are, you see, like he said, as a former president and elder statesman, people look onto you as a role model. When you look at the last person that visited Muhammadu Buhari in Daura, was a candidate of PDP in the 2023 presidential elections. So I think Shehu Sani, to some extent, is playing politics. He has forgotten easily that the same Atiku Abubakar Wazir in Adamawa was part of the merger of present-day APC in Lagos.
That's right.
So the issues
in fact, he contested alongside President Muhammadu Buhari.
No, let's not even go there first, because if we go there, we'll go into issue of opposition. To even give him his right.
What I mean, even within the APC, you know, he contested the ticket.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yes, so he couldn't make it. So he was part of the founding fathers of APC before he came to the opposition party. So he has that right. And Peter Obi visited the same Atiku in his Asokoro residence not long ago. So is that also towards 2027? You see, our politicians, with due respect, some politicians are short-sighted. 2027 belongs to God.
That's right.
Only God knows who can breathe from here to 1 second, minute, hour, or week, or month, or what have you. Then we are in 2024, and you are talking about 2027. I think a civil society person who destiny beckoned on and became Senator of Federal Republic like Shehu Sani not ought to have talked that way, because a lot of people look onto him. During the celebration of June 12th, he was at Igu Square. He even gave a speech when they were celebrating heroes of democracy and also of others. So I think such kind of utterances ought not to have come from him.
Right. Before we leave that, you know, there is something that I don't know whether you can connect the dots. You know, he talked about the celebration, the June 12th celebration. You know, former Senator Shehu Sani was there. The current governor of Kaduna State was there. They were seen in picture with President Bola Tinubu.
Okay, because of the what is the current political scenario in Kaduna State. You know, our politicians are kind of, I don't know how to describe them. That the more you look, the less you see. You know, political camps changes in like a quicksand. So today, the current governor of Basani and his former godfather,
I mean,
Erufai,
that's right.
We are in cahoots against Shehu Sani in different camp, and now they are all. So, and you can see the realignment that is going on. That's like you say. So Shehu Sani is also playing his own politics by these utterances, which they are free. They are politicians. So some of the statement they make, you only take it with pinch of salt and try to analyze it the point, like the dot you are trying to say, connect the dots. So I just don't want to say it plainly, but we cannot read in between the line from the angle he's coming. Right. So yeah.
Okay, political realignment at work. Okay. Okay, coming back to our conversation. Let me start with you again. You've been in the system. You know, frequently visit the police headquarters. I'm sure you're also in tune with the workings of the PSC, the Police Service Commission. This lingering squabble, if you like, or power tussle between these two police institutions has been on since 2019 thereabout. I can't remember. You know, at some point there was issues between a former IGP and all of that. And now even with the Supreme Court position, this is also, reappearing or rearing its heads again. Why is this, obsession with the need to recruit, to take charge of the recruitment process?
Well, before I come to the Supreme Court verdict, the initial arrangement has been like this. Itato during the military administration, even the commissioner of police, promotes from rank of constable up to inspector. That is constable to corporal, corporal to sergeant, sergeant to inspector. Then from confirmed cadre, which is from ASP unconfirmed, up was the purview of Police Service Commission.
Okay.
And we had notable Nigerians, himself, a retired DIG, Pari Osayende from Edo State, who held that position without any skirmishes. There weren't any imbroglio between the PSC chairman and the IG then and host of others. We knew disagreement led to Musiliu Smith, a former IG, resigning because himself and Usman Al-Kali never had it well. I think the verdict of Supreme Court needed to be looked into again, if there's any way. Because the moment you don't give Police Service Commission only the mandate of commission officers, you now bring the mandate of recruitment and promotion of other ranks merged with commission officers, you continue to have these problems. Because if during the military that they ruled by decree, no constitutional provision, they were able to let it go well and it worked perfectly. How come under democracy where there are norms, there are provisions, is not working? So it means something is wrong somewhere, except if that Supreme Court verdict in favor of Police Service Commission, where they can recruit, promote even other ranks as well as commission officers, is divided into two. Let the mandate and authority to recruit and promote other ranks be the purview of Inspector General of Police, that to Commissioner of Police. Then that of commission officers, let it be the mandate of Police Service Commission as it used to be under the military. The issues are this. Like this recent one that led to removal of Sunday Arase himself, a former IG. The president and commander-in-chief, after the sitting of the police council and what have you, gave authority for recruitment of 30,000, not 10,000, inclusive of 2002, 4 and us of others, which the police service
reference to the initial approval, in 2018. It was 10,000 over a period of 6 years.
This recent one, all brought all together.
Right.
2002,
perhaps to close the gap.
That is 30,000, which they never did. And till they finished this last one they did that created the problem, they delayed a lot. Because part of the major problems in the police force now is shortage of personnel. That is what they call rank and file. And who does the field job majorly? It is this rank and file.
Yeah, this is at the point we need this boots on ground, with the current security, prevailing security. But let's look at the reason being advanced by the IGP, Kaide Ebetukun. Looking at the 10,000, constables recruited, it said that there are a number of unqualified persons, irregularities were observed. There are issues around corruption as well. People did not participated, but their names are in and all of. Do you see this as a cogent reason, in spite of the fact that there is a Supreme Court, position on this?
I think these are not cogent reasons. This can be a genuine concern, but they are not cogent reasons. And I see this as an extension of our lack of respect to the rule of law. And the policy that started under Buhari, I think Buhari to an extent allowed a kind of tough war always between various security agencies, and he remains aloof. It happens a lot.
There has been agency
rivalry. Sometimes it blows open, and he doesn't even step in. Remember the famous one between the NSADM, Mongonu, Buratai, and the
Chief of Army Staff.
Chief of Staff.
He's
clearing ground. The one that died during COVID. Abakari.
That's right. The Chief of Army.
Yes, at a point Abakari was the one doing the job he was supposed to do, and the service chief wasn't listening to him, and Abakari was chairing Security Council, which is not supposed to be so. And we have the issue of NIA men versus the EFCC.
Right,
there have been several of that. And yes, he doesn't, and sometimes he even say he gave IGP of then to go to Benue State to do that, and he never so he left this kind of, so people notice there's a kind of loophole that he doesn't take charge to call some people to order, so people begin to exercise their power if they want to. So to me, no matter the grievances of the police, they may have genuine grievances. Like I read an article, someone said, okay, yes, even though the Constitution have provided, and in a situation where police, IGP that, is in charge of police that play crucial role in the national security, and
especially taking charge of internal security.
Security doesn't have power to recruit, doesn't have power to promote, doesn't have power to appoint. In essence, they are making him a ceremonial kind of. But that's notwithstanding. Law is the law. Yeah. If you are not happy with the law, you can protest. You can approach to take the legal.
The Supreme Court has already settled the matter.
That's what I'm saying. What I mean, protest is that, like you say, National Assembly can take a look at it and make another law. You can repeal. That's the role of the National Assembly.
But what is
the Supreme Court has ruled, which is finality. Yeah. But if you want to, that's why there's check and balances. It now is left for which organ now that has the power. If you have checked and see, okay, if the president in his wisdom and check, okay, this arrangement, even though the Supreme Court have ruled, police must obey to the letter of that ruling as it's standing. That's what I'm saying. But if they are not satisfied, they should channel it to the right, which is the National Assembly. It may be the IGP may report to his boss, which is the Commander-in-Chief, the President. The President may send executive bill to the National Assembly, marshal out his reason why he didn't see fit that PSC should continue. Yeah. Because according to the Establishment and Act amended 2001 of Police Service Commission, they are empowered. That's what Supreme Court looked at. Yes, that formal arrangement might have been happening by kind of understanding arrangement.
Yeah, and he talked about
since it blew open and become a legal issue, the Supreme Court now took a more holistic look at it. Look at the letter of the establishment. Look at the Constitution. And so, okay, by the Constitution, because not only them, the Police Service Commission is playing similar role like Civil Service Commission, National Assembly Service Commission. So, but maybe police may feel, okay, I want to be in the same line with like the military and all these. We don't want. That's what I'm saying. They can take it up legally to amend the law. But as it is now, what police is doing is violating the law and Constitution.
Yeah. So what is even wrong in the first place of having a police service commission? You mentioned earlier there's a civil service commission and all of that, and then these are responsible agencies, agencies responsible, if you like, or commissions responsible for recruitment and all of that, promotion and the rest of it. Why is the police interested in taking charge of everything, including recruitment? Because what the PSC is also saying is that the police is trying to cover up, its inadequacies. Monies have been provided for them to equip the colleges where these recruits will go up for training and all of that, but they are not prepared for that. So they're trying to stall the whole process, in order to cover up their inadequacies. Do you agree with that?
Well, I don't share this sentiment, because when you look at the police force, why you have that force there is because they are regimented. One, they do parade. Two, they mount guards of honor and also other things. That is why even right from military administration before now, you hear they say service chiefs and inspector general of police. And in states where you have security council, the commissioner of police comes before anybody. So police force goes beyond civil service. And if we now want to bring the treatment you have in civil service to police, it doesn't work that way. They are regimented, and they share certain responsibility with, in fact, look at cantonments. Even though a former IG signed MOU to start selling their barracks in Garki, Lagos, and what have you, the police share almost same things with the armed forces. The only difference is that sometimes you see that they live among us, then you have police stations outside within civil setup and host of other things. But when you look at them, they are regimented, and that is why you have components like police mobile force and also of other things. Let me give you an example with the armed forces, for instance. When you come to enlistment into Defense Academy, NDA, it comes from Ministry of Defense and Defense Headquarters, where annually you have what you call Armed Forces Selection Board, where either a Major General or Air Vice Marshal or Rear Admiral is sent on behalf of Minister of Defense to chair the selection board, from where cadets that will make it from Tamal 1 to become clowns before going to Tamal 1 and what have you are selected.
But so, is the police not involved in this recruitment? They are also...
No. Let me conclude on this matter. Yeah. Then when it comes to recruitment of other ranks, like now Depot Zaria is for Land Army, then Navy, they have their own recruitment grant for their other ranks. Air Force also, after the approval of either Army Council, Air Force Council or Naval Council. So if you now equate it with police, now the mandate of that recruitment of other ranks in the armed forces, maybe Army, Navy, Air Force, is done by either chiefs of Army, Naval or Air Force, which ought to be same practice in the police, where the IG, who is service chief, just like Chief of Air Staff, Naval and Air. So how come now will you say Police Service Commission should do two, both commission and orders? Whereas sister agencies like Army, Navy, Air Force, they have their service chiefs recruiting the other ranks directly, while Defense Ministry of Defense does those of commission officers. So that is why, just like you said...
But a former IGP, a former Inspector General of Police is chairing this commission. It is not to say that it is not a professional or one who has gone through the police...
Who are the directors in the Police Service Commission? They are civilians. The directors you see, most of the chairmen they appoint to be chairman of Police Service Commission, they sometimes, just like Ara said, the immediate past one, the directors that are there are purely civil people. Most of them lack the security experience and what have you. And even a lot of decisions they do there. And don't forget also commissioners are appointed to be there. Malam Shepiu, let me tell you, whether we like it or not, we still have to come back to the drawing board, how it used to be during the military. Then again, to marry what the other agencies like Army, Navy, Air Force do when it comes to recruitment of other ranks. Then when it comes to commission officers, then the ministry gets in. So I think they need to repeal that law so that of commission officers should be handled by Police Service Commission, then the other ranks should be handled by the force headquarters.
Do you agree with these submissions? Because some will say, why, the whole struggle is just about taking charge of the recruitment process. And the altercations, if you look at it, both sides are trying to undermine, each other. Now, the police is saying that the recruitment was not done correctly. They were giving people who are not, who are unqualified. But then, this recruitment took place with their representation. They also have representatives on the board. So why are they claiming this? After the whole exercise has taken place, and without providing proof or evidence to show that there is actually underhand dealings.
That's the point, and this is it's even detrimental to our national security. This is undermining our national security. If because this is a sensitive agency of government, especially when you are talking about security, and the point you are raising now, why are they constantly bickering? There are many things involved, both spoken and unspoken, which I may not
Let's hear the spoken ones.
So the spoken ones is the power to be in control, to be in control, to determine who comes into the force and the type of character and personalities, which I feel the Police Service Commission can also do it very well. But I feel the grievances of the police, like he mentioned, and this is similar to their protest. This I think maybe the designers of it may have some historical origin. Be that when we left the military to the even during the military regime, there was this allegation that the military administration then weakened the police. And then when we have our first president, who was also a retired military man, it was under him that this Police Service Commission, the Establishment Act, was established. So they took a different recruitment route different from the military. If you even check the pension scheme, military is autonomous. They are in charge of their own military pension board. Right. Police, they are still struggling for it. They are still asking that they be set free to be able to take care of their own pension. So, but my own concern is the law. Yeah. As it stands now, this fight is unnecessary. Yeah. And police has no right to stop what the Supreme Court, because you are a law enforcement agency.
By whatever mean, because
this is our Supreme Court. Yes. There have been many rulings in Nigeria not comfortable, politically and various ways that the Supreme Court, is it not here that in a particular state, Supreme Court ruled that a candidate that took fourth, the people of the state swallowed it. They protested, they are angry, but there's nothing they can do. That I'm just using it as an example to cite you the power of the Supreme Court. It's unquestionable.
If you look at the wordings, even
so, it's even contempt of the court.
Yeah. If you look at what the wordings from that statement,
yes,
that yes, the PSC has the power to recruit, but it doesn't have the power to recruit unqualified persons. Who determined?
That's what I'm saying. You don't decide. As long as that institution have been power, there are many people that are recruited in the military, and the people are complaining that these people are not, that the quality of recruitment in the armed forces have reduced due to so many factors. These traditional rulers will send their own candidate, this senator will send their own candidate, so much political interference. I don't want to go into that detail. Yeah. But they have empowered within the constitutional limits, which he actively mentioned the status from the other ranks to the officers. And police as it stands now, just like their pension issue, the law says Police Service Commission is in charge. And I find it funny that police now is trying to investigate the institution that empowered to investigate and discipline them. So now, no matter their grievances, and that's what brings change of law, you can disagree with the standing of the law, which I've mentioned.
Yeah, earlier.
But you have to follow the due process. You have to obey the law while complaining.
Right. Okay.
And he said that it's a regimented. The regiment is not obey before complain. So I don't know why police is complaining before obeying.
Right. Okay.
So that's my own.
People have different opinions as to why the whole struggle. We'll talk about that when we return from the break. In case you're just joining us, the program is Daily Politics, and we're looking at the controversy, if you like, or the altercations between the Police Service Commission and the Inspector General of Police over the recruitment of constables. We'll take a break. And then I've been interfacing with Senator Iroegbu, senior correspondent, and of course an author, and Salihu Muhmud, a security affairs analyst. We'll take a break. When we return, our conversation continues. Stay with us. Thank you very much for staying with us. If you're just joining, this is Daily Politics, reaching you live from Trust TV. You can do well by following us across our social media platforms and also watch us live on YouTube. And back in the studio, I still have Senator Iroegbu and of course Salihu Muhmud. Before the break, Senator was talking about the baseline, or the basis for all of this altercation, power struggle and all of that. It seems to have have a kind of soft spot, if you like, for the police. You felt that they have not been, rightly treated, or given what they desire in terms of the power to take charge of their responsibility. But the simple question one will ask is, what will change if perhaps the police is allowed to recruit this constable? Because the same allegations of corruption, of irregularities have been canvassed, against the police over the years. A number of recruitments that were done were found to be, not properly in line with the procedures and so on. You find people who have questionable characters, getting into the police. You also have issues around corruption, inducements, or, and so on. At some point, there were allegations by some recruits, which led to, which became a national discourse. A number of people have, were allegedly paid money to get into the services, and then they were left unattended, and it became an issue. So that was handled by the police. Do you think if the police is allowed to, do the recruitment, anything will change?
They've been doing it. Some of the best crops of other ranks, rank and file we have, were done by the police themselves. We have an history in Nigeria of Fulani Kwajafa, who rose up to the rank of what? Commissioner of Police. He started from constable. We have the history of people like Farida, who became EFCC chairperson. She enlisted as constable before she went to school to read law and later got converted to the commission cadre. Most of the outstanding constables that rose to become commissioners of police, and some even destiny beckoned them, they were recruited by the police system themselves. So the issue
are you denying the allegations that
this allegation of corruption is not applicable to the police alone. There is virtually no uniform agency that has not faced that. We had in this country where a whole recruitment process even led to the death of people. Have we easily forgotten 2013 immigration stampede at National Stadium? Then we had cases of civil defense. We had cases of other allegations where people even pay 300,000, 500. So it is not to say it is police alone. But the issues are this. I'm very glad my colleague said it.
But this is an issue the police, Inspector General of Police is raising, there are questions around the integrity of the process. It has been compromised, money is exchanged hands and so on. So, and here you are talking about.
Well, he was putting that blame at the part of PSC, not the part of his officers. Just like
I'm talking about APs.
He raised issues. Yeah. He raised issues. There was a committee, of course. I learned even a DIG was a secretary of the committee alongside the PSC for this 10,000 recruitment that was done. But some of these issues that the IGP Kayode Egbetokun is trying to raise was at the part of the PSC, allegations at the part of PSC, which the spokesperson of the PSC, Annie Okechukwu, also threw his own by saying that the IG was lying. But be that is made, there is a police council. That is where I'm also blaming Mr. President, because Mr. President is also chairing the police council. That is the highest decision-making body for the police, not the PSC, is the police council, where you also have some other eminent elder statesmen in Nigeria. Then again, we have standing committees at the Senate Committee on Police Affairs and Health. By now, in the ministry, you can even say it is they have some limitations and what have you, but the legislature, that is the Senate, and yes, by now they ought to have instituted a public hearing to call the Police Service Commission, invite the IG and other stakeholders to see who is right, but they're still keeping mum. So above all, I think what needed to be done now is to address this issue holistically. And the people that have this mandate now to do this, to mediate, is the two chambers of the National Assembly, the Senate, as well as House of Reps committees on police affairs, respectively.
Right. So, Senator, what do you make up with the decision by the President to relieve the immediate past, chairman of the Police Service Commission of his responsibility? He has approved the appointment of someone, Iroegbu, so a former Assistant Inspector General of Police, also, to replace Arase, and this happened, at the time of this controversy. What does that signal? Because there has been also concerns around that. Pandeb, for instance, has kicked against it, saying that the president, is placing is placing favoritism against, service delivery, integrity, and so on.
Okay, I will start from the legal aspect before I go to the politics side of it. I'm a believer in the legality of things.
Before, constitutionality.
After that, then you can start complaining and explaining.
Yes.
As the constitution is provided, the way the police service, I think the president has the authority to relieve if he feels the chairman is not working according to or based on the report he received, and he's satisfied that is no.
But there wasn't any explanation.
I know. I'm just saying it's his prerogative. Yeah. He may need not give us any explanation, but it's his prerogative, legally speaking. Yeah. But the politics side of it, since President is also a politician, and he took a decision within a political atmosphere. So it's also subject to political interpretation. That's right. So, and that is what Pandev is reacting. So this is the politics side of it. That's why as a president or as a leader, you weigh the options, you weigh the mood of the nation and check, okay, I may take the right decision but wrong timing, or wrong decision, right timing. So it's all, for him to take this decision within this controversy may raise this question. That's why the question is arising. Is he influenced by the IGP disagreement, who is raising some issues, is having some tough war with and be that the PSC chairman was appointed by outgone administration of President Muhammad, and he's from a different geopolitical zone, and now the IGP is appointed by the president, who is also his own kinsman. So these are politics side of it. Right. But legally, the president has a right to take the decision he's taking. But the politics side of it is this decision, the motive behind it, is it the right motive? Yeah,
but even the tenor, I don't know whether it is a constitutional matter or so, but by the law establishing the PSC, the chairman of the PSC is supposed to have a 4-year tenure.
Guaranteed?
Well, that's what I'm trying to get.
Yes, I've not really read about
the concern again is around the fact that previous PSC chairmen were allowed, to exhaust their 4 years tenure before they
maybe they will not reappoint.
So why this one is coming at this time? Why is it happening?
It's not applicable to Police Service Commission alone. They are not elective offices. It is only elective offices that you can guarantee. That is why I was glad he asked guaranteed, because for any political office, just like he stated, the president and commander-in-chief has the power and right to appoint you today and fire you tomorrow if he finds you wanting, not living up to expectation. So, and before this is done, he might have gotten his intelligence reports and also. And let me emphasize here that one of the things that made President Ahmed Bola Tinubu to relieve Solomon Arase of his appointment was his inability to recruit that 30,000 personnel. Because they gave him the mandate for 30,000 and they did only 10,000. So I'm just telling you from insider
But I understand
sources.
Another recruitment process was initiated, perhaps to complement or to complete the gap.
When, where was it? The only one we knew was the 10,000 on, and it was even
the
slow.
2023-2024 process on just recently or so. Okay, I don't know whether it's a response to that allegation that you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah, but there are also concerns around the PSC, beyond Arase, that even calling on the president to relieve the IGP of his position because it's undermining the work of the PSC, which is constitutionally also guaranteed or provided. These are matters of constitutionality as well.
Well, as regards that issue of calling on the president to relieve the IG of his appointment started when the IGP threw bomb as regards irregularities, even how monies exchange hands, even where candidates that did not apply got it, and that did not start today. Don't forget, even the PSC at itself once rebelled against themselves. Don't forget Najar Mohammed versus Salihu Smith, when Salihu Smith was the chairman, that Najar was, telling media, giving media analysis of certain things that were happening in the PSC. PSC itself, with due respect, even though it remains an allegation, is mad in money for promotion, money for recruitment. There are bona fide police officers, I don't want to mention their name, that confided in me. Transition from inspector to unconfirmed ASP, confirmed ASP to DSP and others, they pay as much as 300, 500,000 to some staffs of Police Service Commission, which ought not to be. So even that commission itself is enmeshed in corruption, just the way they are raising issues. So it's an issue that, no, I mentioned allegation. I mentioned allegation already.
So it's a matter of who is higher in terms of, you know. I remember in this country at some point, the police itself as an institution was topping the list in terms of corruption.
Yes, that's it.
Senator, as we round up now, looking at the impact, because in the whole of the controversy, who suffers are Nigerians who are battling with, insecurity and wanting to have relief. There is gap in terms of, personnel to deal with the situation, and yet here we are dragging on who has the responsibility to do what and who's supposed to do what. How does this in fact impact the current efforts towards addressing the insecurity?
Okay, one of it is the one he kept on mentioning, even though I'm not verified that figure, but he has in-depth knowledge, so he could be in the know. So one thing he didn't mention is, okay, if Police Service Commission was unable to recruit that 30,000, what is responsible? Because in this toxic atmosphere, in this who recruits, who does not, it may limit their ability. So one of it is it's impacting the ability to get the number of personnel, and it's not creating the harmony and interagency collaboration.
Yes. Because so I just want to see action taken.
Yes, the action is that President should bring this quickly, bring it to order, and let sanity reign.
Okay, let sanity reign. Okay, what do you think needs to be done, to get out of this quagmire? Now the 10,000 has not been okayed, has not been approved, and then we have a gap, a shortfall of another 20,000, just like you said. So how do we resolve this?
Let the two committees in the House of Reps and Senate institute public hearing, know what the problems are, because the police did say that even after the short list and what have you, the trainings, the physical test lies on them. Is it that the training schools are not up to date? Is it that the police colleges are in shambles? Just one time, you remember during Jonathan when he paid unofficial visit to police college, Ikeja, what he saw and also for that. But beyond that, let more money be appropriated, because it goes beyond just recruiting. What about funding welfare and whatever? Just at this time most of the cantonment and barracks of police was even mortgaged through MOU by one of the immediate past Inspector Generals of Police. So if you now recruit, where are you accommodating them like their counterparts?
Thank you very much, Salihu Muhmud, for your informed perspective. And Senator Iroegbu, we appreciate your coming.
Thank you.
And viewers, this is a wrap on today's edition of Daily Politics. We hope you found the conversation engaging and informative. And be sure to join Daily Politics Live airing every weekday, and also our special package on Fridays, during which we open the telephone line for you to comment on national issues. Once again, I'm Shafiu Suleiman. Many thanks for staying with us.